What's up guys, She-Hulk, my mid-season review. For those that might not have gotten to the end of my She-Hulk episode 1 video, I said I'd probably only be making a review video for the end or the mid-season and finale episode, and I went into why I wasn't going to be doing one for every single episode of the season. Admittedly, the first episode didn't quite sell me on the series, at least not enough to dedicate a video every week to. I like She-Hulk, I read her comics, but she's by no means one of my favorites. I also just didn't want to be constrained to just doing reviews. I only have so much time a week, and sometimes it's hard getting one video out a week. I didn't want to skip stuff that was very interesting to me just because I have to cover a MCU series or anything that might be going on. I want to have the time to do different things that are very exciting in the moment. But very much like the show itself, I will spend my very limited time recapping the most pertinent things from the previous episodes and give an update of my rating of the series so far. So episode 2 worked really well. I think that the episode used the short runtime very effectively, and this is the episode where I actually started to love Jen. Okay, we see Bruce on the way to Sakaar. The Blonsky trial was extremely compelling, and I love seeing A-Bomb again. Episode 3 was personally a miss for me because although the Blonsky trial was dope, I found the Elf trial B plot to be distracting from the main plot and just kind of a cheap way to get Meg Thee Stallion in. Like legit, she probably cost so much to have on. I wonder how much she took up of the budget. And I'd also like to address the post-credit scene of that episode. So many bad comparisons on Twitter that I was seeing, okay? Only incels hate this. People really hate seeing women have fun, even comparing it to Star-Lord and Zemo's dances, okay? Personally, that scene was just kind of cringe and a bit jarring, honestly. Like, you have a poorly CGI'd 7-foot-tall green woman in a pantsuit. Not the fault of the VFX artist, who was probably overworked and underpaid, but she's dropping it low, shaking her ass. You had all of those elements mixed with twerking, like, which I don't give a fuck. Twerking is a wild ass dance, literally. So to compare something like that to a throwaway attempt at humor with Zemo and an extremely in line with character literal distraction is a bit of a reach in my opinion, biases aside, but it's not the end of the world, and it's not something that would get me to hate the whole series. If you enjoyed it, that's okay. It's totally fine, just like it's fine for people to not enjoy it. Also, the Wrecking Crew was pretty lackluster in my opinion, and I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm a big, huge diehard for the Wrecking Crew. I'm just saying they look like some CW games, to be honest. But hey, at least that served to bring in the main plot finally. Episode 4 came around though, and I really enjoyed it. First off, the CEO of Swag, Wong, came through. Enough said. Then we got graced by the return of the Scarlet Witch. Oh wait, that's not Lizzie? But it could be. Nah, but Madison was actually cool. The whole drunk Valley Girl thing worked well in my opinion, and plus, she was pretty hot. So, a very welcome addition to the MCU. When she's not spoiling shit, of course. But besides all of that goodness, we got more of Jen and her shortcomings in the dating scene, which no woman is getting 0 matches on a dating app especially, okay? That's Marvel really asking us to suspend disbelief right there, okay? Then you see her matches shoot up as she makes the profile for She-Hulk, and she fights those demon dogs with Wong for some solid action, and then she comes back to that guy she took home and gives him, you know, a little bit of that king treatment. And damn, when he left in the morning because he saw Jen, even after she cooked him breakfast, that shit hit hard, which is what I love. Like, they're really shitting on Jen, really putting her through the ringer, and I think by the end she'll really appreciate her Jen side because she's getting all this attention for being She-Hulk, and she's gonna really start to love being She-Hulk. She arguably already is starting to, but I'm hoping she finds the, you know, beauty in Jen. Like, I'm hoping she big ups Jen, the Jen side, because Jen is honestly my favorite part of the show. Episode 5, I was tempted to do a video for, especially since I thought we'd be seeing Daredevil, but that wasn't the case, of course. And aside from the B plot of Pug and Nikki, the whole lawsuit against Jen by Titania was actually really great. Again, when that mofo got on the stand, or the sit, or whatever it's called. Again, I'm only familiar primarily with Bird Law, but when he said Jen wasn't his type and she just had to take it like that, like damn, legit emotional damage. Again, you feel so strongly for Jen. She had to really suffer for that dub in the courtroom, so you really appreciate it more because it's super earned. Really good stuff here. And the only thing to come out of the B plot was the live action Edna Mode, who is making Jen's Shulky suit, and we did get a tease for the yellow and red Daredevil suit, and it was glorious what we saw of it, of course. But then that really drove expectations for this week week of Daredevil showing up. But once again, my balls have reverted to sapphires as he does not appear in episode 6, confirmed by God. Instead, we see Jen go to a wedding and she was looking forward to rock out like bands as She-Hulk, but of course that distracted from the attention the bride would be getting, so she had to stay as Jen Walters, and again, she was being put through the ringer all episode with ironing duty, wearing an ill-fitting dress, walking with a dog groomsman, having Titania be there to make sly remarks at her expense, and above all else, a fucking cash bar. Lulu, you broke ass. And the subplot honestly was decent. I enjoyed seeing Mr. Immortal, but honestly, the juice was not worth the squeeze of how much runtime the B plot took up, in my opinion. It really ultimately served to set up Intelligentsia, which is basically like Leader and MODOK, the Mad Thinker, Egghead, a couple other like super intellect villains come together, and their basic plan was to share information. So they went to like Wakanda, they went to Atlantis, they went to like the Eternals base, and they basically stole information from like the Library of Alexandria that was like spread across those 3 sites, and it was actually pretty cool. They are basically responsible for Thunderbolt Ross becoming Red Hulk, so I'm imagining some variation of that is going to happen, because we already know that some blood is going to be taken and somebody's going to turn to a Hulk. And again, RIP to William Hurt, but I think they should recast if we're going to do Red Hulk. And so with that episode, the A plot ended solid with Jen fighting Titania and exposing that woman, okay?
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Little ass teeth. Got dolphin teeth.
The episode ends with Jen with that dude and another probably stronger syringe for a second attempt at Jen's blood. I'd imagine she's going to get pricked, and with Bruce letting her know how dangerous her blood is if it got out, she's gonna go extra hard trying to find the people who stole it from her and get it back. And I'd imagine that's how Daredevil will come in. Maybe he's gonna, sniff out the blood next episode. He fucking better. But basically, I enjoyed this episode and a solid amount from episode 4 to now, but I seriously feel like this show should have an extra 20 minutes per episode. I think if we had more time to spend on the main, underlying plot and not just tease it for the very end of the series, the runtime that the B plots take up would be way more justified. Plus, give us more time with Jen and some more She-Hulk in action. This show is mostly, but not all, directed towards women, so there are parts that just don't hit for me and probably don't hit for a lot of other men, okay? Some of the humor, yes, I've read She-Hulk comics before and I know it gets silly, but this is not the exact same type of humor in my opinion. I mean, those She-Hulk comics that are very silly, a lot of them are written by men, and so this is not landing for me personally. Not all, but a majority of the time. And the only way I can kind of reasonably compare it to anything is like when you show your girl a video of something you find badass or hilarious, but she couldn't give a fuck less, and then she shows you a video with some fucking makeup artist that's really funny and you couldn't give a fuck less, okay? It's not that you hate anything, it's just 2 different tastes, okay? I do enjoy the sitcom aspect, but I feel like with as much stuff as they're trying to get in, I feel like I don't have enough time to feel and invest in the character because the episode just goes by way too fast. Who knows, maybe this series would have been better as a binge. All in all, great performances and a very charismatic cast, but the pacing and runtime are its biggest flaws in my opinion. Plus, the marketing for the show is now delving from quirky into annoying by so heavily teasing Daredevil just for him to show up so late. I get it's Jen's show, I love watching Jen, but if you didn't want people to feel this way, then you shouldn't have included him as much in the promo, and don't get mad when people do if you market him so heavily. So with all that being said, my mid-season rating of She-Hulk is now a solid 6 out of 10. So from 5.5 to 6 out of 10 to a solid 6 out of 10. So much potential. I just need more time with the main character. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what y'all think about the series so far, or if you're even watching the series. I know a lot of people aren't. It's all good. Watch what you want. It's as simple as that. And that's all I got. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you guys are well, and I'll see you in the next one.